A gamer, you see?
Way too. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard the news or not of these reoccurring rumors, if you will, of a PS5 Pro potentially being in the works right now. Now, none of this has come from Sony's mouth, and until it comes from their mouth, there's all rumors, there's all speculation. But apparently, an insider, has said this, that, oh, it's in the works and it may be coming sooner than later. Now, with the PS5 Pro, I mean, I would expect that it has better specs, which would mean better visuals and better performance while playing games, right? And I was thinking that if this does end up being true, I'm not entirely sure we even need a PS5 Pro, to be honest with you. I mean, bro, this would be totally different from when we got the PS4 Pro. Remember before the PS4 Pro came out, a lot of suckers was like displeased, with just like the performance of the console, being like, bro, how does the game struck? Bro, we weren't even getting games at 1080p 60 frames per second on a consistent basis with PS4. So that's when the PS4 Pro came out. That was like, all right, we're getting 60 frames now. A lot of people were, not pleased with the performance of PS4 and like the games that we were getting on it at that time. With PS5, I mean, honestly, have we even seen the true potential of PS5 yet? Has any game come out on PS5 that has truly like tested the limit that the PS5 can go to? Yeah, we have gotten games like God of War Ragnarok, which looks freaking incredible. But again, you have suckers saying, oh, it's just God of War 1.5. It looks the same how it did on, on PS4 Pro. The game still looks incredible though. And again, a lot of these devs, when they are making games this gen, and I hope this stops soon, because we're going again on that 3-year mark of us being in this generation, almost 3 years already. Lord have mercy. A lot of these devs though have been going into, when they are developing these games, they're still providing for last gen. So they are still dropping on PS4. They're still dropping on Xbox One. So I do feel like, a lot of these games have been held back because these devs have to keep in mind, oh, we also have to develop for them as well. I don't really feel like any game really that has come out on PS5, maybe excluding Returnal, which is now on PC, and I guess Ratchet & Clank and Rift Apart. Those, I think, are the only two games that when they came out, they were strictly for PS5. Those games, I don't really feel like those two games push the limit of what the PS5 can do, and it's still so early in the lifespan of PS5. I don't feel like nobody is complaining about the specs of PS5 right now. Nobody is complaining about, the power and like what this thing can do. I just feel like it's been too early to see, a game really take advantage of what this console can do while not providing and putting that game also on PS4. PS5 is a great console as far as performance goes and as far as visuals go. If this does end up being true, I mean, what are some improvements that they could actually do for PS5 Pro? What are some improvements that you guys would like to see? I mean, I would of course expect higher frame rate. So I don't know if this means like, 240 frames per second, which would be on freaking PC levels, but higher frame rate, I would suspect that. Maybe some higher ray tracing.
That glorious ray tracing support.
I would definitely want a bigger SSD. You only get like 667 gigs of space on the SSD, and these games take up a lot of space. So I would expect at least like maybe a 1.5, maybe 2 terabyte SSD. I mean, bro, I'm literally trying to think about like things that they can do to like actually make it worth the purchase. Maybe include that a new dual edge controller that they just came out with that's like $150. I don't know. Maybe include that, make it smaller than the PS5. I mean, even though I don't I like the size. I'm freaking looking at this thing right now. I like the size of the PS5, but it is pretty big. If you don't got a lot of desk space or nowhere to put this thing, it is tough to squeeze, you know, in a PS5 somewhere, and especially if you're trying to like lay it down flat. So it is pretty big. So maybe they could make it smaller as well. One thing I would truly like to see, but this would never happen, would be true backwards compatibility. Could you imagine if your PS5 could play PS4, PS3, PS2, PS? I'd probably pay $1,000, honestly. I honestly would not have no problem. Well, maybe, I don't know, 800, 850 maybe. You know, maybe 1,000 a little bit too much. But I would be willing to pay if a PS5 could play all of the freaking past PlayStation games, that would be incredible. But they always say, oh, the PS3's architecture, the way it was built, it's impossible. You know, so I'm just thinking of like things that they could actually provide in the PS5 Pro to justify even doing it in the first place. Because again, I don't think this is the same case with PS4 Pro. We don't really need a PS5 Pro right now. I mean, honestly, bro, we just got to the point to where, you know, you don't have to break your arm and leg to find a PS5. So now you're gonna freaking be maybe possibly putting out a PS5 Pro. I just feel like, you know, it's an entirely different situation with PS5 than it was with PS4 right now. But yeah, I mean, it could possibly happen, and if it does end up happening, what are some improvements that you guys think they would put in the PS5 Pro? What are some things that you would like to see in the PS5 Pro of that, you know, they could improve from the base PS5? Leave all that and more down in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until the next video, my brothers and sisters, I'll catch y'all boys in my next one, right?